Hey man, we back at it again. Same day, same everything. But hey, in this video, we gonna be reacting to why this prison is the most feared and deadliest in America. See what I'm saying? But yeah, we about to see what's going on for real. Talking about most feared, bro. He got two poles in his hand, twin. Hold on, bro. If these shanks, ain't no way.
Understand that this is not a joke. You understand?
Bro, where this at, bro?
At any given time.
This Cook? Where this at? This Cook or somewhere in Texas?
It'll get real back here.
This what happen when you fuck a nigga tattoo up, especially one of my brother, man. Dig what I'm saying? Dig what I'm saying?
I run on BLOODS. I'll keep shit in don't edit that gang.
You Pyru.
Hold up, man. What we got going on in the chat, man? You gotta see that shit in my phone. That's the hell, man. Where these niggas at? Where,
Populous state in the United Georgia is the 8th
Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, man. Let's do it.
most populous state in the United States and has the 4th highest prison population. The state of Georgia houses over 50,000 inmates in 34 facilities across the state, with 25,000 of those prisoners being labeled violent offenders. There are also 9,600 inmates currently serving life in prison and over 40 inmates currently on death row awaiting to be executed. Since the year 2022, there has been a total of 113 murders inside Georgia prisons, with 44 already this year. This includes one of the deaths involving an inmate in June of this year, who got his hands on a gun and killed a civilian food service worker with whom he was having a relationship with. After he shot and killed her, he turned the gun on himself and committed suicide. The shooter was able to get the gun by having a civilian on the outside fly a drone over the prison with the gun attached to it and drop it in the prison yard where he would collect it. He had been in prison for 9 years on a manslaughter charge, with his earliest release date being 2043. This murder would be the second death of a prison staff member in Georgia in less than a year, with the last death involving a prison guard being stabbed to death from behind with a homemade knife. The Georgia prison guard job has a high number of job vacancies due to its low pay, with its starting salary at $40,000, which is the equivalent of making $19 an hour. In 2012, there were 6,500 prison staff employees, but in 10 years that number dropped 60%, well below to 2,500 guards in 2022. Due to the low pay and not having enough manpower to handle the large number of inmates, prisoners will bribe guards to smuggle in drugs, phones, food, and designer clothing. Inmates would pay guards amounts from $1,500 and more for every delivery they made to them. Since 2018, there has been a total of 360 prison staff members fired for being involved in smuggling contraband, sexual assault, and extortion. In 2019, a correctional officer was caught trying to smuggle in 8 cell phones and 2.6 pounds of meth to an inmate, for which she was going to receive $10,000, but she was caught and would eventually be sentenced to 5 years in federal prison. Prison guards would even go above and beyond when an officer was on an inmate's payroll. The inmate paid the officer to kill another female officer who decided to stop moving drugs for him. The inmate would later attempt to send another hit on another officer, but the hitman ended up killing the wrong person. Now the inmate is currently on trial awaiting the death penalty. Even a prison warden was caught drug smuggling, and it was found that the warden was getting paid well above $44,000 from various inmates to help smuggle in drugs and other illegal items. In 2023, prison officials would shake down and search inmate cells, and that year they would find a total of 6,300 cell phones, 1,432 pills, 242 pounds of cocaine, 300 pounds of marijuana, 769 pounds of meth, fentanyl, and heroin, which investigators would calculate the street value to be a total of $4,320,000 worth of contraband.
One of the things students love about culinary school online with Escoffier is the toolkit.
And seized. The year before, an inmate with access to a cell phone scammed the Charles Schwab Bank out of $11 million, and he would eventually be caught. After he was released from prison, he was arrested by federal authorities and would eventually be sentenced to 11 years in federal prison. The Georgia Department of Corrections would document a total of 15,000 gang members, with the most well-known gangs being 4,700 Bloods, 3,900 Gangster Disciples, and 1,400 Crips. In October of 2024, the federal government Department of Justice would launch a full investigation into the horrific conditions and corruption in the Georgia prison system. Due to the lack of prison staff in 2021, there were a total of 702 sexual abuse acts against inmates in Georgia, with most of these victims being a part of the LGBT community. Gangs that run housing units often target LGBT inmates with physical violence to force them out of the gang's housing unit. For example, in 2022, 24-year-old openly gay and transgender inmate Tristan McKee, who had a history of mental illness and suicidal ideations, was placed in a gang housing unit that was very hostile against LGBT inmates. He was attacked and beaten by Bloods and Gangster Disciples, and while he tried to run and escape, he was stabbed 12 times, including being stabbed in his eye, and prison guards would respond 45 minutes later. Hours later, he was pronounced dead. The day before his death, he told prison guards that he needed help leaving his housing unit because he felt that his life was in danger, but the guards ignored him. At the time of his death, Tristan only had 1 more year in prison left until he was eligible to come home. Rapes and tortures are very frequent in Georgia prisons. For example, in August of 2020, an inmate passed a note to an officer stating that the inmate in the cell next to him kept screaming for help. So when the officer opened the cell next door, the officer found an inmate who had been held and tortured for almost 4 days. He had been injured in his eye and he suffered a traumatic brain injury. He was airlifted to an outside hospital where he would later survive. Another incident in that same month involved an inmate who dug a hole in the wall into another man's cell, where the inmate would slide his way into the other man's...
A hole in the wall, bro. Folks be dedicated to get to
cell,
the person
beat him, and rape him. A female officer would find the victim hidden under his bed with his head bleeding. He was hospitalized for head trauma requiring 26 staples and was treated for rib fractures and fractures to his fingers. An even worse story is when in 2022, 18-year-old inmate Jacob Daniels was attacked by 3 individuals who broke his wrist and his feet and stuffed fillings from inside a cut-up mattress in his mouth, stabbed him in the throat with an ink pen, and cut his wrists with glass from a broken light bulb in his mouth. Individuals who broke his wrist 2022.
I'm gonna replay everything so y'all can hear it.
18-year-old inmate Jacob Daniels was attacked by 3 individuals who broke...
He's 18 years old and got attacked by 3 folks. That's 1. But this 18-year-old got did this way. Listen, bro.
Broke his wrist and his feet and stuffed fillings from inside a cut-up mattress in his mouth, stabbed him in the throat with an ink pen, and cut his wrists with glass from a broken light bulb. The attackers, Cody Brock and James Collins, were charged with malice murder, aggravated assault, and false imprisonment. But also prison guards have been known to secretly work with gangs in prison and being on their payroll and sometimes play a part in the role of an inmate's death. For example, in September of 2022 at Phillips State Prison, 3 Blood gang members, including one of them, 19-year-old Malik McBride, planned to run into a rival Crip member's cell to kill him. The Bloods told the prison guard that was on duty at the time their plans, and the guard agreed, so the prison guard unlocked the Crip gang member's prison cell and walked away. Shortly after, the 3 Bloods ran into the Crip's cell, but with the Crip gang member being smart and already on point, he was prepared for an attack. The first Blood to enter the cell was Malik McBride, and the attack didn't last long because as soon as they went in, the Crip stabbed Malik in the head and with a fatal stab wound to the heart. The other 2 Bloods ran back to their cells and locked their doors, and Malik attempted to run back to his, but he collapsed before he could make it. After this incident, the Crip was not charged with Malik's death because he admitted it was self-defense, but one of the Blood members was charged with felony murder for his involvement in initiating the attack. When word was spread throughout the Georgia prisons of Malik's death from a rival Crip member, it started a gang war in 3 separate prisons in the state of Georgia. On October 1st, 2022 at Coffee State Prison, a war broke out between Bloods and Crips and 2 inmates were taken to the hospital. On October the 2nd at Maycomb State Prison, a war caused 13 inmates to be taken to the hospital. And on October 3rd at Ware State Prison, 5 inmates were sent to the hospital. In the end, a total of 2 gang members were killed and 20 gang members were hospitalized. The prison guard that opened the original Crips cell door was placed under investigation for
Yeah, I know exactly who bro is, twin.
the incident because he failed to cooperate.
Know exactly who bro is on the left, on your left. On the left
He was
side,
eventually
know exactly
fired.
who bro is.
In the end, a prison facility is no place for any man, and it is a blessing to come home from it. It is crucial to never take your freedom for granted because not everyone sentenced to prison makes it home.
No late night vibe, you know. Late night vibe, we playing PS5. Yeah, man. You know what's going?
It's only in the
What's going on?
Gotta be only in Atlanta. But yeah, man. I appreciate y'all boys for tuning in to that one. You know what I'm saying? That's mad love. It's love every time y'all tune in, bro. That's why I appreciate y'all, man. But yeah, I do know that officer on the left side. I'ma probably next time I see him, I'ma talk to him, have a little talk with him. I ain't gonna say too much, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. But yeah, bro. Without further ado, it's your boy 618J. Make sure y'all stay grounded, stay focused on what y'all gotta do in life. Make sure y'all do what y'all gotta do for you and not for nobody else. You see what I'm saying? Build your own foundation. You know what I'm saying? Do what you gotta do for you. You feel me? Do what's best for you. You don't gotta, yeah. Just focus up right now, twin. That's all. That's it. That's all. But yeah, I love y'all. Make sure y'all stay tuned. Make sure y'all stay connected with me. You know what I'm saying? Hit me on social. Stay all in the description down below. I love y'all and I'm gone.